I have a bit of a problem today on Distinctions for Life. When I was young, my dad used to always tell me, anything worth doing is worth doing well. And you know what? He was right, but I'm still going to have to disagree with him because anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. Stay tuned to find out what I mean. Today on Distinctions for Life, we've come to my teenage home. That house right there I used to live in when I was a teenager, and I must have mowed that lawn 100 times. When I was a kid, my dad would send me out to mow the lawn every Saturday here in the hot, humid Houston weather. You know, like today I'd end up covered in mosquito bites. There's one right there. See, here's my blood. And I hated it. I hated getting bit by bugs. I hated smelling like exhaust and grass when it was over, and it turned my shoes green, and I hated that too. So, being a teenager and trying to be efficient, of course, I would try and get it done as quickly as possible. Then my dad would come out and he'd look at my half-assed job and he'd say, son, anything worth doing is worth doing well. As I grew up, I would go to school and I wouldn't really have a whole lot of problem in school. And so anytime I ran into something that was hard to do, I just wouldn't do it. You know, if I tried something and I sucked at it, well then I'm just not any good and I would go on. But this is a really poor strategy to have in life if you want to accomplish anything. See, when you try something new, you're going to suck at it. And you're going to do it over and over again poorly in order to get good at it. Any skill you take, you're going to have to do it over and over again poorly. And that's what I mean when I say anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. So that's the distinction. And you know, when Dad came out and looked at my lawn, you know, it wasn't that I didn't know how to do the lawn right. It was that I didn't want to do the lawn. And that was just being lazy. So if you're just going to be lazy or it's something you really don't want to do, well then you need to listen to my dad and say if it's worth doing well, whether you want to or not. When Dad said anything worth doing is worth doing well, he was right, as dads often are. Is there anything in life that you've tried and it didn't really work out as easily as you thought it would and so you quit? Do you have a new insight into that based on today's distinction? You ever wanted to learn to play the guitar? Every man wants to learn to play the guitar at some point in his life. Have you ever wanted to learn to swim well or write well or something, but you tried it and you did it really poorly, and so you just said, I'm not any good at this, I don't have talent for this, I'm going to quit. Well, now you have this new insight. Maybe it's time to go back and revisit those things. And so that's your action for today. Maybe you need to revisit something that you've tried in the past and you did poorly, and you need to let yourself do poorly this time. No real resource this week, unless you want my dad's phone number to get some good advice. But since I always give you a resource, I'll suggest my friend John Tuggle's website, Learning Guitar Now, at learningguitarnow.com. The link is in the show notes. He can help you accomplish every man's dream at some point in his life and learn how to play the guitar. Very soon, DFL is going to offer a 30-day course that will give you lots of tools, advice, and training on doing life better. We can help you accelerate through doing things poorly. Keep an eye on the website.